Moving on. This is a profound question. We got three more after this. This is probably the question of the night, though, in terms of depth, I think. Joshua Tiemans wants to know, why is America? Isn't that interesting? Not what is America, which is an interesting question. Where is America? Relatively straightforward to ask. Why is America? Why? Of all the things that I despise about progressives and socialists in America, about American progressives and socialisms, I don't begrudge them anything. If they're from other countries, they're entitled to their philosophy of slavery and ruin. I don't care. But when I hear Americans talking about bringing in socialism and tolerating socialism and being a part of this whole thing, it makes me crazy, because they don't understand that why is America? America is an idea. It's the only country in the world that's founded on an idea. It's founded on the idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The French Republic was founded on the idea of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Liberty and equality are opposing each other. Total liberty means zero equality. Total equality means zero liberty. If you think that through, it's really true. So no wonder the French Revolution was doomed. These two things are in direct opposition to each other, and fraternity is not something that's built into the human condition. They tried to build it in, and hundreds of thousands of people were guillotined trying to make that happen. Didn't happen. But life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are not mutually exclusive. On the contrary, they're mutually reinforcing. And so America, the why is America? America is here because the most transcendental elements of the human spirit need a place to live. It's a rather decent quote, I think. America is here because the most transcendental elements of the human spirit need a place to live. There needs to be a place where you can do what you want to do and start a business and invent the home computer or the airplane without filling out thousands of forms and begging permission and without all these nutty regulations and taxes and government interference and licenses and tests and all these lock the doors behind you kind of things that we're seeing today. Freedom needs a place to live on earth, the ability to be free, and not just to be free, although there's nothing wrong with being free to just go where you want to, do what you want to with your life. It's totally cool. But I think that's actually a side effect to it. The idea of being free to create things that didn't exist before. That's why there's America. You need a place on the earth where dreamers can dream things and can bring these dreams to reality. And it doesn't matter how many times you fail. How many times did Sylvester Stallone fail before he gave us that work of art? How many times did the Apple guys fail? How many times did they take it to IBM and whoever? No, we're not interested. Okay. And thinking of this device here, how many times did we think, well, Apple went to a couple of different places, and then Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak started Apple Computer, and it was a big success. Well, they started Apple Computer, it was a big success, and then Steve Jobs got thrown out of his own company, and he was wandering the wilderness for 20 years, and finally he comes back and has this renaissance of the iPhone and the iPad and the iMac and all this other stuff. Where else does this happen in the world? Nowhere. That's why there's America. Invention has to be brought to earth, and transcendental dreams of success and transcendental dreams of a vision, and it doesn't have to be something as world-changing as the iPhone. You can have a vision of an automobile repair shop. You can have a vision of a dry cleaning store. You have a vision of financial independence. I'm going to open a dry cleaning store, and all of the members of the family are going to work in it, and we'll be there till 11 o'clock at night, and we'll be there on weekends. But if we can get this thing going, we'll never have to worry about income again. We'll be independently financially secure. And if we work really hard and are really good at it, we may actually be wealthy. There's nowhere else in the world people think this way. Well, some of them think this way, but they can't do anything, so they come to America. This is the land of dreams and opportunities. It's the physical home of dreams on earth. That's why there's an America. And America, look, of all the places in the world, and I've been to a few, I wouldn't call myself super widely traveled, but I've been to Europe, I've been to Southeast Asia, I've been to Australia, I've been around, I haven't been to South America, I've been to Central America a little bit, and certainly know what these places look like. There's no place on the earth that is as beautiful as North America, in my opinion. North America, the flora and the fauna and the geography of North America, I think it's the most beautiful place in the world. New Zealand is a very, very close runner. But with that said, America is not geography, and America is not it's not our continental boundaries, it's not Yosemite, it's not It's not Texas. It's not the amber waves of grain. America is not those things. And America is not even really the Constitution or the government. America is an idea. It's an idea of being free and being prosperous and being safe and handing it down to your children and letting other people do these things as well. It's a civil place. It's a decent place. It's a place where there's the rule of law and good manners are rewarded. They're not just tolerated, they're rewarded. And no one makes you be polite. You're polite because it's good for you. It's not just good for business, it's good for your soul. It's an upward spiral. It's a self-reinforcing, positive reinforcing reactor where all sorts of different opinions, different ethnicities, different races, different religions come into contact, squeeze together, and it's a reactor that generates energy, spiritual energy, which is translated into things like guarantees of freedom, which have never existed before, protections against individual liberty. It's a guarantee of the military might, which is the result of harnessing that reactor. Our military is so powerful because of this society. We're not a great society because of the military. We have a great military because we're a great society. We produce all sorts of things. We're very inventive, hardworking people, very energetic people, and I think it's all those things. Where else is this going to live? Where else are you going to put this stuff? You got to put it somewhere. Actually, you don't. You don't have to put it somewhere because it didn't exist. It didn't exist forever. And if we're not careful, it's not going to exist in the future. But I'll tell you one thing, folks. America will survive Barack Obama. America will survive Eric Holder and Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. It will survive all those things. It's a much bigger idea than these weenies. And America is a thought. America is an idea. You can take America. You don't even need to take the flag. And I know we're starting to get into territory that's a little where we start to blend so many of these deeply held passions and beliefs, but you don't even need the flag, although I love the flag. And if this country ever fell as a country, if it ever fell into tyranny, I would take the flag because they don't own the flag. They've commandeered the flag. They've stolen the flag. I'd take the flag with me, but you don't even need the flag. It's an idea. It's an idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's radical. That is a revolutionary idea. The idea that you have a right to be happy. You have an obligation to be happy. You have a moral obligation to be happy. And that's why liberals are so miserable. And I don't care if they're miserable. This is the thing I can't stand about these progressives. When you start talking about like dividing up the country, forget even about the civil, like a cold Civil War thing. The idea that, look, okay, you want to live that way? That's fine. You want a blue state model in California? Fine. We'll have a red state model in Texas or Idaho or wherever, and we'll let them compete. They can't handle that. The idea that somebody is out there free, succeeding, or being free and not being regulated is anathema to them. They have to control everyone and all of it. They won't leave you alone. If you think the idea that these people will leave you alone to go your own way, you're out of your mind. Their philosophy is predicated on control. And if you're left alone, not are you not only a bad example. Texas is a very bad example for Barack Obama and for California. Dallas makes Chicago look bad. Texas makes California look bad and makes Michigan and Detroit look even worse. Because in an era of universal debts, not just in America but all around the world, Texas is running an $8 billion surplus. Why? Because Texas is America. Because Texas is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Get out of the way. Don't bug us. No personal income tax for the state and a legislature that meets, 2 weeks every other year or something like that? How do you argue with that? But the idea that you could leave California, go to Texas, and let people live as conservatives in Texas is anathema to these people. They have to control all of it. They have to bring it down. They have to bring it down. And that's why you have to be prepared to fight these people. And fight them rhetorically until it's not a rhetorical fight anymore. Let's just pray that it doesn't get to that point. But that's why we have a Second Amendment. Because I don't think these people are going to rest until they control everything. That's a great question, Joshua. That's one of the best questions I've ever had. I just like the way it's phrased. Why is America? It's really beautiful. It's really elegant. So thank you very much for that. I thank all of you for these questions. We got 3 left.